rare earths, all these minerals that nobody talks about that go into all the new batteries. If you want to drive an electric car, you're going to need this stuff. China's really taken global control of this. Why do you think that's such a key part of this fight that isn't really getting a lot of other attention?
Yeah, so I think that what a lot of the American press is really focused on just the sheer size. The U.S. has such a large trade deficit with China that many Americans can't help but think then that we, the U.S., has more to gain from a trade battle with China. And I think that these kind of bean counters really miss, by focusing on price, they miss the value. And that is to say that these rare earths that the U.S. imports, I want to say about 4,000 tons or so last year, it only cost us about $180 million. This is a rounding error for these bean counters. And I think that we lose sight of the quality and the way that China can fight back if they choose to. Right now, I still think that we are at sort of lower rungs of a large escalation ladder. And the rare earths, using the RMB, using treasuries as a weapon, I think is much higher levels in this escalation ladder.
So where does this play out inside of that trade war, and how does it affect currencies and all the other capital flows that we do talk about?
Yeah, sure. So I think that, the dollar's had a good ride so far this year. We saw the dollar reverse lower at the end of last week, Thursday and Friday. But once President Trump indicated that he did not think the U.S. was ready to sign an agreement, to have an agreement with China, the dollar began strengthening again, risk began coming off. We saw equity markets trade a little bit heavier yesterday, and I think that we're going to see a little struggle here today as people try to sauce out exactly how long is this tension going to last? And I think that I went to the same forecasting school as the president. We were told to give either an objective or a time frame, but not both in the same presentation. And so saying that there'll be a trade agreement in the future is one thing, and I just think that future is going to be more prolonged than people expect.
Yeah, listen, we talk about trade, we talk about earnings. The dollar matters to U.S. companies. You're going to sell stuff around the world. You care about where the dollar is. Dollar index near a 2-year high. Do you see it getting stronger and stronger from here, Marc?
Well, I do. I am still bullish the dollar, but I do think that we're in the last phase of the big dollar rally that began about 10 years ago. I think that the last phase of the dollar, in my work, tends to be associated with interest rate differentials moving against the U.S. And for the most part, they've been moving against the U.S. most of this year. So I see one big leg up in the dollar as this 10-year dollar rally comes to a conclusion. And that could bring us to the euro, for example, below 110. Today, we're trading there 112.
Yeah, and you think the dollar's just going to keep going up from here, Marc?
I think the dollar's still got another leg up, partly because Europe is in such a mess. I mean, even though we had those EU elections over the weekend, look at country after country is struggling to put a government together. Belgium had an election over the weekend. The Greek government's collapsing. Yeah. The Austrian government's collapsing. Italy is threatening some political problems with the EU. So I just think that we've got a lot of problems in Europe, and the dollar still looks to me like the least ugly in this ugly contest.
Amazing.